Hey everyone, Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new UniFi Network Update 10.2, which brings a ton of new features that are really great to the UniFi Network application. I'm going to go over all of the major points as there is quite a lot in this update, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to be taking a look at is under our topology view. You can see we still have topology, but now we have this infrastructure, which is pretty much a digital twin of all the hardware that's in our network. At the top, you can see both of our WAN feeds coming in, and this is really cool to be able to visualize. You're going to be able to see if you have any links that are currently in trouble, maybe spanning tree that is blocking. But we have our two WAN connections going in to the UDM Pro Max. And then below that, we have our aggregation switch, which you can see right beside, it's the STP route. This device is the spanning tree route. Other switches reference it to decide which ports to block when redundant paths exist. So that's really nice to see. After that, we could see our downlinks to all of our other switches, and we have 5 switches down here, and it also shows us the STP priority. There's a couple other things that we could look at under the infrastructure tab. So we have our digital twins detail, and checking that off, it's going to show us the names of all of our devices, and it will show us things like power, and it will show us our CPU and our memory that's currently being used within each one of the devices. If we want to see what's happening on a specific port, all we need to do is hover over that port, and it's going to show us what speed that port's operating at and how much TX and RX has been going through. Another thing that we could do, we could create different groups. So I'm going to create a group, and I'm going to call this core switches. We only have one core switch here, which is our aggregation switch, and we're going to apply that change. I'm going to create another group, and I'm going to call this access switches. Within the access switches, I'm going to put all 5 of our UDM Pro Max 48 PoE switches in there, and now it will show you the difference between. So we have our digital twin, which is up top. That is our firewall. Then we have our core or distribution switches, and then we have our access layer switches. Say you added another switch into your environment. Well, you can't just add it to the group by selecting the group and then selecting the switch. But what you can do, you could grab the switch and then you could just drag and drop it into the existing group, which is nice to see. We can't edit any of the groups. We would have to reset to default and then start our groups over. We could also add third-party devices. So we have 1U up to 3U servers. We also have PDUs, and we have different cooling units. So let's go ahead. We'll add a 3U rack server, and we'll just call this servers. So now at the very top, we could see that we have the different server, which actually just looks like 3 switches combined. This next update will be for our switches, and we're going to go into the port manager here, and we could see that we have this thing called Time Machine. And if we turn that on, there's going to be this last 24 hours, and we could scroll through the 24 hours. What this is going to do, it's going to show us different things that were plugged into our ports or port changes within a specific time. So this is going to be very useful for when we're doing troubleshooting. So if I scroll through a little bit, you would probably see some of these icons turn on and off, and it also shows us that 5 different devices had changes. So we have our kitchen connected, and then we have a bunch of other things connected, and we also have an anomaly on port 13. I did update all of these switches, so that's why things would have been going up and down. But this will be very useful for troubleshooting physical Ethernet connections. Within the Time Machine also, we have this minus and then we have this plus icon, so we could look at it smaller or we could look at it larger. And scrolling down within this red section, that is our port anomaly. And then we could see what was going on with this port, which is happening on our Canon printer, and it's just showing that it was STP port blocked. That was due to when the switch was updating. And this next update is really cool. It's found under high availability, and it's called Device Supervisors. So monitor power, heartbeat, and automatically recover silent devices. So let's click on that. So here we see our supervised devices, so our UniFi devices. Then we see the device supervisor, so that's our heartbeat monitor. And then we see our power source, so either a PoE switch or we could have the PDU. It continuously monitors device heartbeat and safely power cycles the device via PoE switches or UniFi PDUs if it becomes unresponsive for a prolonged period. There's 2 different ways that we could add devices. We could supervise all, so that will automatically include all detected PoE powered devices, or we could select and configure devices individually, and that's what we're going to take a look at first. So we have this right here. We have different access points. So AP1 all the way down to our aggregation switches, and then we have a different power source. But let's just go ahead and click on AP Office 1, and then we're going to link the device. So there's other settings that we could set up. It is showing which port that this device is currently on. So it's switch 4 on port 16. We have our heartbeat and what we can do with that. So checks how often a powered device is verified as responsive. So the minimum is 1 minute, or you could go all the way up to 5 minutes that it checks that. The next setting is our silence threshold. So time without heartbeat before the device is considered silent. So it's saying 15 minutes. You may want to bring that down a little bit more. We'd say we maybe put it on 8 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press create. Now that access point shows up under the devices that are being supervised, which is really nice, and it gives us all the details. So the device, the power sort, the outlet, heartbeat, and then the silence threshold. We could also remove this from the supervisor if we'd like. There's also another way that we could add our UniFi devices to the device supervisor. So say we want this reception AP to be a part of that. What we need to do is click on the AP, go over to settings, and then we're going to scroll down. From here, we could see the power and resiliency. So it's showing which switch it's plugged into and which port, and then we could just check off this device supervisor, so monitor power and heartbeat to automatically recover silent devices. Another new feature within this update is the ability to revert firmware, specifically on our devices. So I'm on my downstairs access point here, and you can see that I'm on 8.5.13, and we could click revert. We are going to have the current version and then what it will revert to, and we could look at the release notes. If we want, we could also give feedback to the Ubiquiti R&D team. The last improvement that we're going to be looking at for this update is under our Wi-Fi networks, and more specifically on open networks, so say a guest network. So our security mode is open, but we have a couple different options now. We have enhanced open and enhanced open with transition. So enhanced open encrypts traffic without requiring a password, improves privacy on open networks, and enhanced open with transition provides encrypted connections for supported devices while allowing legacy devices to connect as open. And that's going to be it for my video on UniFi Network 10.2, and I really think they did a great job with this update. The infrastructure is really cool to see, the way that we could group devices together, and we could also add third-party devices. The ability to supervise devices now with a heartbeat through our PoE or our PDUs is very critical, and I've been waiting for that for a very long time. Let me know some other improvements that you'd like to see in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. All right, thanks.